Tell you what,
Right there.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Moneybags. I'm gonna make this more interesting for you. How about we double it? $2 million. $2 million says I beat your boy Dylan Dennis. I know you're gonna see this. I know you're gonna see this clip.
This time, Joe Rogan wasn't holding anything back when Logan Paul turned down an offer to fight Conor McGregor, one of the biggest names in the world of fighting. The story goes like this: Logan, a massive influencer, gets a chance to face a legendary figure in combat sports, but instead of jumping at the opportunity, he decides to politely decline. And Joe wasn't having any of it. After all, Logan constantly boasts about being a warrior, but when it's time to face an actual fighter, he folds faster than a deck chair. So why would Logan turn down such a massive opportunity? Maybe it's because he's more comfortable flexing his muscles on social media than stepping into a real ring against someone with real fighting skills. Logan Paul's reasoning for rejecting the fight with Conor McGregor is simple: I'm a YouTuber, not a fighter. In an interview, Logan explained that although he could technically cut weight to meet McGregor at 185 pounds, the match wasn't worth it because Conor is a professional fighter, and Logan is just an online personality. Sure, Logan has his physicality, but McGregor has years of fighting experience under his belt, making him a far more dangerous opponent. What's more, this potential matchup could have been huge not just for Logan, but for the entire fight world. A clash between Logan and McGregor would have shattered pay-per-view records, given Logan a chance to prove his skills in the ring and perhaps silence his critics. But instead, Logan chose the safer route, further cementing his reputation as someone who is all talk but lacks the guts to back it up. Joe Rogan didn't hold back in his critique of Logan Paul's decision. He pointed out how absurd it was for Logan to reject a fight with McGregor, especially when the financial stakes were so high. If the fight had happened, each fighter would have earned a staggering $250 million more than what legends like Tyson and Usyk earned combined. But instead of accepting the challenge, Logan walked away from a payday that most fighters would dream of. Joe couldn't help but mock the whole situation, sarcastically suggesting that Logan was probably too busy perfecting his WWE persona to worry about fighting in a real ring. After all, Logan's attention was likely focused on his scripted wrestling moves, not real combat sports. Logan Paul's track record as a fighter doesn't exactly inspire confidence. His biggest achievements in the ring include a split decision loss to KSI and a controversial disqualification victory over Dylan Dennis. These results don't exactly make him seem like a serious competitor. Joe Rogan didn't hesitate to call out the Dennis fight, calling it more of a circus act than a legitimate boxing match. In 6 rounds, Dennis threw fewer punches than most people do while warming up, and Logan's victory came because Dennis tried to choke him during the fight. Rogan's take? That wasn't a win, it was an escape from embarrassment. Logan's credibility in the fight world is shaky at best, and it's hard to take him seriously when his biggest accomplishments come from controversial moments rather than actual victories. The fight with Conor McGregor wasn't just another match on the calendar, it had the potential to be a historic event. It was set to take place in Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium as part of India's tourism campaign. This would have been a massive spectacle, funded by one of India's richest families, the Ambanis, whose fortune could easily cover the $250 million paydays for both fighters. Joe Rogan pointed out that for McGregor, this wasn't just about money, it was about maintaining his legendary status in the fight world. Even a less-than-prime McGregor would have easily outclassed Logan Paul, who, according to Joe, could be taken down by Conor even if he was fighting with one leg. McGregor's star power is undeniable, and no matter how you feel about him, it's clear that he's operating on a whole different level than Logan. Joe Rogan also couldn't resist mocking Logan's rejection of the McGregor fight in a way that was hard to ignore. He emphasized that Logan's decision wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a glaring admission that he's not ready for the big leagues. Logan's entire career has been built around marketing and spectacle, not actual fighting. While McGregor has fought and defeated some of the best fighters in the world, Logan has stuck to the safety of scripted matches and cherry-picked opponents. Joe pointed out that Logan Paul's role in the fight game isn't as a fighter, but as a showman. He's more interested in creating narratives and looking like a fighter than actually stepping into the ring and proving himself. And when it's time to step up to a real challenge, Logan's quick to step back. Rogan also went on to explain how Logan Paul's decision fits perfectly into his pattern of behavior. Logan's past fights, like the exhibition match against Floyd Mayweather, were low risk and high reward, but there was no real pressure because it was a show and not an official bout. Logan's strategy has always been to fight names that sound impressive on paper but don't present a legitimate challenge. Whether it's Mayweather, who didn't train for the exhibition, or KSI, who had a limited skill set, Logan's fights were never about testing himself. Joe pointed out that Logan Paul, much like his younger brother Jake, is a master of carefully selecting opponents who won't risk damaging his brand. Both brothers have turned the sport of boxing into a marketing vehicle, where the focus is on headlines, not real competition. Logan's desire for safe, profitable bouts rather than challenging fights is exactly what sets him apart from fighters like Conor McGregor. While McGregor has always taken on the best, Logan's approach has been more about controlling the narrative. His brand thrives on spectacle and drama, but when it comes to real competition, Logan is more interested in avoiding danger than stepping up to the plate. Joe made it clear that the primary motivation for Logan isn't proving himself in the ring, it's keeping up the persona of a tough guy while maintaining the illusion of fighting the best. When the opportunity to face McGregor came up, Logan wisely or perhaps cowardly stepped away from the fight that would have tested him like never before. Rogan also offered some insight into Logan's mindset, explaining that the fight with McGregor wasn't about money or fame. For Logan, it's about controlling every aspect of his career and brand. The WWE allows him to control every move, and in Misfits boxing, he picks opponents who pose no real threat. But McGregor is a whole different animal. Facing him would require Logan to risk everything, from his undefeated record to his carefully constructed brand. The risk of being dominated by a world-class fighter is too high, which is why Logan chose to avoid the challenge altogether. Joe pointed out that Logan doesn't want to be a fighter he wants the public to think he is. There's a clear distinction between someone who takes risks and someone who carefully curates their image, and Logan is in the business of carefully curating. The fact that this fight was part of India's tourism campaign only added another layer of absurdity to the whole situation. Rogan joked that it would have been a spectacle for all the wrong reasons. Imagine flying halfway across the world just to watch Logan Paul get knocked out in front of a stadium full of fans. Instead of a fight that would make a lasting impact on the sport, Logan would have been turned into a meme, a side attraction at best. This is exactly how Rogan sees the rise of influencer boxing as a circus show, a farce masquerading as a legitimate sport. Logan Paul, in Rogan's view, is the poster child for this movement, where fame and branding are more important than actual skill or competition. It's a sad reflection of how the fight world has evolved into a spectacle rather than a sport based on merit. Joe also vented about how influencer boxing is changing the landscape of real combat sports. Rogan made it clear that the line between true fighters and self-promoting influencers has become blurred, with people like Logan Paul helping to turn real sports into a series of staged performances. Instead of fighters earning respect through skill and hard work, we now have people using the ring to maintain their fame and status. Rogan's frustration was palpable as he pointed out that this isn't about fighting for honor or legacy, it's about creating a show that attracts millions of views. And in the end, it's not about who wins or loses, it's about who gets the most headlines. Ultimately, Joe Rogan summed it up by questioning the legitimacy of Logan Paul's career as a fighter. At what point do we stop pretending Logan Paul is a real fighter, he asked. Logan's rejection of McGregor isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a statement. Logan is content to remain in his carefully controlled world of social media and WWE, where he can create the narratives he wants the public to see. But when it's time to face a real challenge, he runs. As Rogan put it, Logan Paul is not a fighter, he's a marketer, a performer, and a master of self-promotion, and while that might make him a successful showman, it doesn't make him a fighter. So, unless Logan decides to take real risks and face credible opponents, he'll continue to be remembered as someone who played at fighting, but never truly fought. The final thought Rogan left us with was simple: if Logan Paul ever does decide to step up and face a real fighter, then maybe he'll finally be taken seriously. Until then, Joe's sticking to watching the real fighters, the ones who put everything on the line every time they step into the ring. Logan's rejection of the McGregor fight isn't just a missed opportunity for him, it's a clear message that Logan Paul doesn't want to risk anything except his own brand. His fans might buy into whatever excuse he comes up with, but the truth is clear. Logan Paul isn't a fighter, he's a brand. And his brand is about controlling the narrative, not stepping into the ring with fighters who can actually challenge him. So after all of this, what's the verdict? Is Logan Paul simply too scared to face a real fighter like Conor McGregor, or is this all part of a larger strategy to protect his brand and image? It's hard to ignore the fact that every move Logan makes seems to be calculated for maximum attention and minimum risk. Turning down a $250 million fight with Conor McGregor isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a bold statement that he's not willing to put everything on the line for the sake of real competition. But maybe that's the point, right? Logan's not in the fight game to prove he's the best fighter, he's there to keep his name buzzing and stay relevant in the public eye. His entire career has been built on spectacle, drama, and creating viral moments, not real athletic prowess. Whether it's WWE, influencer boxing, or carefully selected exhibition matches, Logan's not about risking his legacy in a real fight. He wants the fame, the money, and the narrative control, but without the threat of being humbled in front of millions. So, what do you think? Is Logan Paul just too comfortable in his bubble of safety to challenge someone like McGregor? Or do you think there's a deeper reason behind this decision, something that might change the course of his career if he ever does step up to fight a true, world-class opponent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe Logan's rejection is a sign of fear? Or is it just another calculated move in his ongoing quest for relevance? And hey, let's not forget the spectacle of it all. The Paul brothers have completely transformed the world of combat sports into something else. But does that mean they're legitimate fighters, or is it all just smoke and mirrors? One thing's for sure, Logan knows how to create a story that gets everyone talking, whether it's in the ring or online. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more in-depth analysis of the world of boxing, UFC, and the Paul brothers, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest content. Your support means the world and helps this channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep questioning the narrative, and remember, it's not always about the fight. Sometimes it's about who's telling the story. Take care.